What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Nothing But Skills, and today I'm excited to be talking about the Division 2. Yes, the Division 2. But to be honest, I had no idea how I was going to start this video. I thought about it over and over and over, and that's why I delayed it so long. The beta has been over since Sunday, and we just hit Friday, so it took me a full week to even start this video. But I finally took the time, I sat down and wrote out what I really wanted to say to you guys. The hardest part about this video is that the community is divided, so no matter what I say in this video, you're either gonna hate it or you're really gonna love it. I can't please everybody. All I can tell you is how I feel about this game. Some of you are gonna say that Ubisoft is paying me if I say too much good things about it. The rest of you guys, if I say too much hate, you're gonna say I'm on the hater bandwagon. No matter what I say, it's not gonna be 100% right for all of you guys. But no, this is what I feel, and this is what I'm telling my friends to do. And hopefully after you guys watch this video, you guys can come to your own conclusion and decide if you guys want to purchase this game or if you want to wait for the open beta, which is going to be from March 1st to the 4th. So let's first talk about Division 2 PvE, and then we'll get into Division 2 PvP. So Division 2 PvE for me is a little bit easier to talk about, and I feel that the community for the Division is a little bit happier with the Division 2 PvE. NPCs seem to die a little quicker, so the time to kill is there, but honestly, we played a lot of level 7 PvE, and if you think back to Division 1, low level PvE, the NPCs did die pretty quick, and you had to play in cover, right? The intelligence of the AI in Division 2 with their new skill sets are very impressive, and I think they're very challenging, which make for a really intense and fun PvE experience. So for all of you PvE guys, I think you'll be really happy. We have only really got to play a small portion, but from the beta we got to play open world, 2 main missions, 1 invaded endgame mission, and then of course the dark zone, plus conflict with skirmish. Now I was lucky enough to get flown out to San Francisco to get a hands-on with the PvE for Division 2, and it was actually a lot of fun, and I got to play 2 additional endgame invaded missions. So far I feel like PvE is in a really good place, and after talking to developers in San Francisco about the Division 2 and where they plan on taking the Division 2 PvE, the future looks promising for the Division 2. We will also get 8-man raids that we have no idea what they look like, but they're supposed to be the hardest missions in the game and give you some of the best loot. We have a new faction called the Black Tusk, who are taking over DC, and if you don't help fight them off, they will continue to invade all of DC, and before you know it, they will have taken over the map. Now, this kind of reminds me of Assassin's Creed Conquest. If you don't fight off the armies and you let the armies retake back their territory, they can end up taking over their country. But as long as you keep fighting them off, it keeps you busy, and those are pretty fun to do. And I feel like that's going to give all of our PvE players something to always do. Always have to fight off those Black Tusk. If they don't feel like playing the raids, if they don't feel like doing any missions, if they don't feel like farming the DZ, I feel like that's a great activity that they added for those PvE players. Now the DZ is also rewarding for PvE players, as some gear is not contaminated anymore. So if you have PvE players farming landmarks in the DZ, now they have a chance of getting gear and not worrying about it dropping if some rogue players come up behind them and kill them. If you die, you don't lose your gear, and a lot of PvE players stayed out of the dark zone because in Division 1, if you died in the dark zone, you lost everything that was on you. So you could have been in the dark zone for 2 hours farming, you go to extract that loot, some players come up behind you, they kill you, and you lose all those items. So they did change it in Division 2, so now PvE players who aren't good at PvPing, they have a chance of getting contaminated and uncontaminated items, which the uncontaminated items go straight into your bag, and you don't lose those if you die in the dark zone. Now the DZ also added a PvE friendly way for PvE players to go rogue called the White Rogue, where you have to complete certain tasks in the DZ, and then once you complete those tasks and you get 100% location of the Thieves' Den, you can go into that Thieves' Den and there's a vendor in there and you get a reward for completing it. So that is something that's really cool that they added that PvE players can go about doing and being able to experience that rogue life without having to kill any rogue players. If you wanted something new in PvE from Division 1, I believe you will be happy and enjoy the PvE content that they're bringing to Division 2. Now let's focus on PvP, because this is where the community seems to have the biggest controversy in the Division community. And if you lean one way, you're a hater. If you lean another way, you could be a sellout. So before we dive into it, the first thing we need to remember is that this was all level 7 PvP, normalized PvP, whether we were playing in the dark zone or whether we were playing conflict skirmish. So we were missing a lot. We only had access to 3 skills. We didn't even have access to the full skills. If you notice, the 3 skills that they gave us, we only were able to unlock 2 things from each skill. We had no real healing skills but the drone. You guys have to remember, we're still going to have the hive that has some type of healing skill, and then the launcher, I believe, also has a healing skill. Then you have to look at brand set combos with skills and how they will affect those skills, how strong those heals will be, how strong those turrets will be. So that all depends on how the end game is. That's why trying to come to a real conclusion of PvP at just level 7 isn't something anybody realistically can do. So before I continue on, let me just tell you guys, I personally really enjoyed Division 2 PvP because I went into Division 2 knowing it was going to be nothing like Division 1 PvP. And if you went into the beta with that open mindset, you know what, it's going to be different, but it's going to be fun. I'm pretty sure you really enjoyed Division 2 PvP. So a lot of the complaints that I've been hearing are about movement. To me, honestly, I don't have a real issue with the movement. The movement was changed from Division 1 to Division 2 to get rid of the chicken dancing that so many players hated and complained about. Now, I personally don't have an issue with it. It did take a little bit of getting used to, but I think some things are actually a little bit smoother, like when you're climbing or vaulting over objects. I feel like those are a lot smoother in Division 2 than in Division 1. Some may say that this looks like Ghost Recon Wildlands movement. I personally played Wildlands a lot, and I think the movement isn't the same. I do feel it's a hybrid between Division 1 and Wildlands though, so if they had a baby, that's the movement you would have in Division 2. Armor was also introduced and burst healing was removed to get rid of that face tanking. That's a huge change from Division 1. Med kits are no more, armor plates now must be removed, and while you're removing and replacing those armor plates, you have to be either in cover or standing still. Now there is one small change I would like to see done to this. I would like it if you do pop your armor plates while you're standing up, you could slowly still walk. I'm not saying you can shoot, I'm not saying you can sprint, but you should be able to still slowly walk while you're changing your armor plates. That'll give you the ability to kind of get around the corner, because just having that little bit of movement could save you. Say if you're just around the corner and you could get to the other side of the corner, when the players come around, you might be done changing your armor plates by the time they get to you. So it just gives you a little bit more survivability. Will this happen? I'm not 100% sure, but anything is possible with a division. They can always update, change, and they're always listening to the community. So changes like that can always happen. Now, one complaint that I'm getting is some people are saying that the time to kill is still too low. Some are saying it's still too high. And I honestly think it's really good. People need to remember this is an RPG first, shooter second. And if you want something that kills people with one shot to the head or two to three shots to the body, you might want to try something like Rainbow Six, which is a really tactical shooter, and that's what happens in that game 95% of the time. That might be a better game for you than Division 2. But to be honest, if you took out burst healing and med kits away from the time to kill in Division 1, Division 1 could be just as fast or even faster. Remove those gear sets and that time to kill is really fast in Division 1. So to say that time to kill in the Division 2 is so much faster, I think it's a real lie, but I think it's more noticeable now since we don't have medkits and we don't have that burst healing. Now, I haven't had time to play every weapon, every brand set, so I can't go into telling you which gear set I think is the best, which guns I think are the best, if anything's overpowered, or if some things are underpowered. But I can tell you from the short time playing the beta, I felt that you could almost use every gun and compete. Every gun had a lot of damage and was effective in its own way. I felt that shotguns were a little too strong, but only time will tell once we get to endgame PvP, because skills can change a lot. Everything can be reduced a little bit, your armor could be a little bit stronger. We won't know till we get to that end game PvP. The secret mines were a big issue, almost destroying all of your armor with one explosion, and then you just finish off your enemies with a few shots. And then it even got worse. Now say when you had 4 guys running secret mines, launching them right at you, it was pretty much game over. You couldn't really do anything at all. Turrets were almost the same way. If you had a team that had 4 turrets, those turrets will melt through your armor and then they can hit you with a couple bullets with their gun and drop you right down. I have faith that Ubisoft will continue to provide the support and changes this game needs. After talking to them in person in San Francisco, what they have planned for this game for PvE and PvP in the future is just amazing. I just think we have to give it time, guys. We have to let them balance it out as they get more feedback from us, as they find out what guns are a little bit too overpowered, what guns work well, what skills need to be toned down a little. We'll get a more balanced PvP experience, and for your PvE guys, I feel like the skills are perfectly fine. The last thing I do want to address is turrets in the DZ. I hear a lot of people talking about it. They're saying that they don't agree with it. I honestly think that the turrets are a good thing, especially for those solo players. Maybe the range of the turrets needs to be just toned down a little bit so they only affect a certain area and they don't snipe you across the map like some players were saying. And maybe that's what the Division wants, and they just need to tweak it a little bit because they were a little bit overpowered. To sum this all up, guys, I'm going to tell my friends to buy it. I've already told multiple of my friends to pre-order it. After playing the beta, my friends like it. And at the end of the day, if I enjoy a game, my friends enjoy a game, I'm going to have fun playing the game over and over and over again. And I think that's why I played the Division so much, because initially I had so many friends that played the Division 1 that it got me really into it. Later on, I started playing more solo play as most of my friends started to walk away from the Division 1 because they just weren't happy with the state of the game. But bringing them back to Division 2, a lot of them had some really positive things to say about it, and they actually enjoyed Division 2 PvP more than they enjoyed Division 1 PvP. So I think if you're looking for Division 1 PvP in Division 2, you're not going to be happy. I feel that if you go into the open mindset that Division 2 PvP is going to be different, if you adapt, you can still have fun, you can still get manhunts, you can still do a lot of damage. You just have to adapt your playstyle. You're going to have a lot of fun. I think that there's endless possibilities for brand sets, for weapons. I feel like you can use so many more weapons in Division 2 that I think there's an endless possibility of the combinations we can do with brand sets and weapons. So hopefully you guys are excited like I am about the Division 2. I'm honestly a Division fan, and I'm really excited for Division 2. I love the changes that they've done, and I think it gives it a fresh take on the Division. I feel like if we had the same game, the Division over, it would just be the Division 1.5, right? So right now we have the Division 2. They changed a lot, but I think it's a step in the right direction. I hope you guys are excited for the game. If you guys want to know more about the Division, if you guys have any questions about the Division, use the comment section down below. Also, let me know what you guys think about it. Are you guys pre-ordering the Division 2? Are you guys excited for the open beta, which is from March 1st to the 4th, to try it out yourself if you didn't have a chance to get your hands on with the Division 2? Or are you just not excited about it? You're not going to pre-order it. You're not going to go for it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Remember, if you found this video useful, smash the thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, first time watching a video, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, so when I release a video, you guys get notified. And as always, if you don't see me in the dark zone, if you don't see me in conflict, it's only a matter of time. Nothing but skills out.